A CBS executive responds to questions about Polly Parrott's possible return to NCIS as Abby Ciuto. With the NCIS universe evolving thanks to spin-offs featuring classic characters from the parent show, conversations about who else can return are dominating speculations. Michael Weatherly and Cote de Pablo are spearheading NCIS Europe, while Mark Harmon is working on NCIS Origins. With both Brian Dietzen and Sean Murray still active on the main show, questions about Parrott's comeback status are particularly interesting. In a new interview with Deadline about the evolving NCIS universe, CBS Studios president David Stapf is asked about the idea of Parrott's return as Abby. It's no secret that Parrott's NCIS exit was mired with controversy, which makes this trickier to navigate than other former cast members coming back. Nonetheless, the executive is optimistic about the idea. Read his full quote below. How Polly Parrott's Abby Ciuto can return to NCIS. Abby and Gibbs in her NCIS lab. NCIS referenced Abby during Ducky's tribute episode. The outing doesn't directly mention her name, but the show alluded to her existence by featuring a flower arrangement sent for the late Dr. Mallard. Throughout her time in the agency, she worked closely with David McCallum's character, so while ideally, she would have been there, the Easter egg was better than not having any involvement from her. While Ciuto's exit from NCIS was complicated, the show found a way to explain Abby's resignation, making it easier for her to return. Abby's decision to leave NCIS stemmed from the death of MI6 agent Clayton Reeves, who was protecting her from a hitman. She accompanied his body back to England and started a charity on his behalf. Assuming that he is still based in the area, Tony and Ziva can recruit Abby to help with their current predicament in NCIS Europe. Per the spin-off's premise, the couple and their daughter, Tali, will be on the run across the continent. Otherwise, Abby can also return to NCIS with a special cameo. It's worth noting, however, that Parrott did publicly say that she would never work on NCIS again after her conflict with former co-star, Mark Harmon. It has been 6 years since her departure from the show, and it's curious if her stance has changed. In any case, Harmon is no longer a cast member in the main series, although he remains involved with his spin-off. At the very least, if Parrott decides to return as Abby, she won't have to interact with him. Abby is the only original NCIS character whose return hasn't been set. Tony, Ziva, and Gibbs are all coming back to NCIS. Season 21 marks the first time that there aren't any more original NCIS characters in the show. The death of David McCallum, which was reflected in Ducky's fate, ended the streak. It's worth noting that despite being longtime cast members, both Sean Murray's Timothy McGee and Brian Dietzen's Jimmy Palmer are not part of the initial roster of players for the long-running show. Both of them debuted in NCIS Season 1, but already several episodes in. Even then, they were mostly recurring roles. So far, only Dr. Mallard and Sasha Alexander's Caitlin Todd, who died in the Season 2 finale at the hands of Ziva David's half-brother, are unable to return to the police procedural. Everyone else can return at any time. Harmon making his inevitable comeback leaves Abby as the only remaining original cast member who hasn't returned since leaving their post. Even if Gibbs doesn't return to the primary NCIS show, the character will live on via NCIS Origins, which will tackle his early days as part of Mike Frank's ragtag team of investigators at Camp Pendleton.